I guess we're going live for the second time.
Yeah, second time, best time.
We were live, but apparently it didn't transfer to YouTube. So we're going to start it again. Greetings, BDR community, and welcome to the premiere of the Northern California BDR Expedition documentary film. I'm Ina Thorne, Executive Director of the BDR organization, and I'm here with Paul Gillian, BDR co-founder. And we're excited to bring you this broadcast all the way from where?
Tonopah, Nevada. So we've done many broadcasts over the years, but this is our first time broadcasting live from a BDR fundraiser. Live broadcasts are always unpredictable. We had a little snafu already, but it sounds like it's working. It's going out through the inner tubes, and that's just part of the fun. So if our system crashes again, just know that you can tune in and watch the film for free on our YouTube channel later tonight. So for now, let's just settle in for a little BDR adventure fun.
Yeah, so as we wait for everyone to join, let's take a moment to highlight our fundraiser and show our fantastic crowd that is here. So this is our 9th annual fundraiser. We are in the historic Mid-Spa Hotel in Tonopah, Nevada, right on the Nevada BDR. We've got 2 days of exceptional riding. We have presentations in the evening, and we'll be discussing the future of the BDR and getting some input from this wonderful crowd. So really great to see you all here, our passionate riders and supporters.
Last time I was riding in Tonopah, I was with Johnny Campbell. So now all we have is Jimmy Lewis here. So I guess Johnny didn't get the memo, but we did see Jimmy on that route when we were filming that. I think it was back in 2017. So this event has always been about connecting with our riding community, sharing the latest BDR updates, exchanging information, sharing ideas from the community to the BDR team, from the BDR team to the community, and it's also about supporting the local businesses like Tonopah, or local towns like Tonopah. And the presence of our supporters here in the room and for those of you at home is vital to help ensure the future of the BDR. It allows us to continue to create and maintain all of these BDR routes.
Yes, and tonight here with us is route architect Ron West, who is also a board member. So we will be bringing him here for some Q&A and behind the scenes information on route creation. We also advertise to you that Sterling Noren, our longtime filmmaker, will be here. Unfortunately, he got stranded in the Arizona desert.
Flat tire strikes again on a BDR.
He was fortunately rescued by his girlfriend Eva, but he couldn't make it here tonight.
Again.
This
is a recurring theme with him.
So Paul, we rode the Northern California BDR.
We did,
and, what are 3 words that come to mind when you think about that route?
Well, I think the first word has to be mountains, and I mean like big mountains, Sierra Mountains, so that was probably the biggest impression. Also whoop-de-doos. It's rare that you have really good whoop-de-doos in a BDR, but this one had the best whoop-de-doos of any BDR. They were super fun to ride, even on a big 1250 GS. And I think the last word would be towers, the lookout towers that there were so many of.
Do you remember how many?
I believe it was a baker's dozen. We didn't make it to all of them, but
yes, 13,
there's a baker's dozen on the route.
Yep. 13 lookout towers on this route. Yeah, for me, I would describe this route as epic, blissful, and wondrous. It is so diverse. It's probably one of my favorite routes, along with the Southern California BDR. But every couple hours, the terrain changes. Mm-hmm. You have amazing conifer forest that we ride through. There's mountain vistas. There's some geological wonders like the Mono Lake.
Yep.
That was really cool. I've never seen anything like that before. Lots of history, ghost mining towns.
Yeah,
lots of cool spots to see and really a lot of gems to discover. And there's some really amazing twisties on this route.
The kind of twisties that only California has.
Yeah.
Okay, so control room, how are we looking? Are we ready to kick this thing off?
Looking great. Almost 700 people watching live.
700 people at home. Good. Well, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the first online screening of the NorCal BDR Expedition film. For the people here at the event, we have a Raise the Paddle activity where supporters can help us raise funds for the future of the BDR. And for those of you watching at home, we have a way that you can also support us as well. So if you're inspired after watching this film, please consider making a donation, whether it's $10, $100, $500. It all helps. and you can donate right on the BDR website. Go to ridebdr.com/NorCal. You can watch the film there. You can make your donation there. Make it happen and help us keep creating routes and preserving riding opportunities for the motorcycle community.
Yeah, and so for all donors of $10 or more, or if you want to join the supporter program and get some additional perks and discounts from our industry partners, you will be entered to win one of our 3 prizes. The first one is the NorCal BDR bundle. We're including the map, the decal, and then the Moscow Moto designed jersey. We also have the Aventuro, TourTech Aventuro Pro carbon helmet. This is the 3rd edition.
3rd generation of the legendary lightweight carbon fiber adventure riding helmet from TourTech. Happens to be the official helmet of the BDR. Can't miss with this. Some lucky dog is going to win this tonight.
And our grand prize is a 5-day all-inclusive Big Bend BDRX tour that's being donated by Austin Moto Adventures. Later in the program, we're going to tell you about the upcoming Big Bend BDRX route release that's happening this year. Austin Motor Adventures is our local training and touring partner outside of Austin. So they will be running this tour twice, one time in October and November. You can choose the date. If the date doesn't work for you, you can choose an all-inclusive training at Austin Motor Adventures on any of the dates that they advertise on their website. So cool prizes. Go and donate any amount over $10, and we'll be announcing the winners later in the program.
Audience too.
Oh, and the audience can do it as well. Okay, great. So as many of you know, the NorCal BDR is our latest project. This thing was 5 years in the making. Ron West and Trevor Morton were instrumental in it. They are our 2 route architects. They were buried under 22 feet of snow a couple of the years, so it was tough to get out there into the high country and do it. So it took countless scouting missions and numerous route revisions to get this thing done, but they did, and boy, did they ever deliver.
Yeah, and so we did the route release in February, and for the last 3 months, the film has been touring the country. We had over 70 screenings at dealerships and clubs around the country. So big thanks to our BDR ambassadors who helped organize these film premieres and hosted the screenings. And also big thank you to the motorcycle dealerships and clubs around the country that hosted these events. Couldn't do it without you. So our plan tonight is to welcome our special guest, Ron West. Then we will screen the film, which is about 90 minutes. Then we'll take about 15 minutes for questions from the audience, and all of you who are watching online, make sure you put your route-related questions into the chat, and we'll make sure to cover those before we end the broadcast.
So starting tonight, this will be available for free on YouTube. So if you know anybody who missed the film or wanted to see this and they didn't make it to one of the film premieres around the country, they can go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/RideBDR. And starting tonight, anybody can watch this film for free into perpetuity.
Ron, it's your time in the spotlight.
All right, Ron West.
Switch this.
Yep. Okay, Ron, we're going to put you in the hot seat, and then I'm going to give you my microphone. Have a seat there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I'll get you mic'd up here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think you're ready.
All right. Well,
Ron,
yes, Nina,
welcome.
Thank you so much.
So the route has been in development for over 5 years.
It has. It has. Yeah, the first official scouting trip that we did, Trevor Morton and I went. I remember it was Father's Day weekend, 2017, and you had actually taken a call from a gentleman from the one of the local forests, the Modoc National Forest, and he invited us to come ride his forest. And when someone from the Forest Service has come ride, you actually answer that call. And it was great because he had done the Washington BDR, and he knew about the BDR, and he said, you know, the town that they're centered in, Alturas, he said, it really needs the economic benefit that the BDR can bring. So we'd love for you to come up and ride. And so Trevor and I went up there about 4 days, absolutely fell in love with the far northeast corner of California, and that was the beginning of the official scouting of the BDR.
And it took so long to develop that you had 2 grandchildren in the
did.
meantime.
I did, yeah.
A few more gray hairs.
Yeah, a lot more, and a lot more wrinkles. Yeah.
Well, tell us, like, why did it take so long? What were the challenges in developing it?
Well, one is, California has just literally thousands of miles of road. So we have a lot to choose from, but the main issue that we ran into was forest fires. We had the Caldor fire, we had the Dixie fire, which consumed almost 1 million acres. And so we had a route, and then there was this massive fire that went through, roads were closed down. As you know, after a fire goes through, then it just denudes all of the vegetation, then you have washouts. So we had to go through and we had to completely re-scout the route. Most of it was still intact, but we had to do some changes, and another fire would come through. And then just before we filmed the route, the winter before, the Sierras had just an epic snowstorm, a winter, one of the largest snow winters that we've had in decades. And that delayed the filming of the route a couple of different times.
Yeah,
so
this
tough.
was our 13th route, so we encountered a lot of problems, even like rescheduling.
I'm not necessarily superstitious, but we had our issues. Yes.
Yeah, and you'll see some issues that happened in the film too. Well, what are some of the highlights for you of this route?
Well, the route starts in Mammoth Lakes, which is my second home. It's absolutely beautiful. Mountain biking, skiing. Those of you that come up there, definitely go up above Mammoth Lakes. There's the Lakes Basin, Twin Lakes, great fishing. So definitely take some time to go through there. And then Bodie. If you are into history, mining, just the history of California, Bodie is just an amazing place. So definitely Bodie. I would say, Sierra Buttes has to be one of the most spectacular, well, it is. It is the most spectacular lookout I've ever been to. It's like something out of Game of Thrones. It's like a citadel. It's just hard to believe that this thing exists, and you climb to the top and just the vistas are unbelievable. And then the state parks. We go to Donner Memorial State Park that has just some amazing history. One of the state parks that is on the route that we didn't get to film because of timing was Plumas Eureka State Park, and that has some great mining history as well. So just overall, and then of course Paul mentioned the fire lookouts, 13 of them.
Yeah. All right. So for riders who are planning to ride this route, when can they start this year?
This year. We had a pretty good snow year this year as well, not as much as last year, but I would say probably the earliest would be the end of June, maybe might be the first or second week of July. There's some high passes. We go through the High Sierra, so the snow tends to linger in those areas. One of the things that you can do before you start the route is to check out RideBDR and our interactive map, because it has the snow layers on there. So click the snow layer, you can kind of get a good idea about the snow in different sections of the route. Bear in mind that there's a lot of, you're riding under the canopy of trees a lot, so there still could be some snow, even though the map shows that there's not much in there, still could be, but generally short sections.
All right. I know one question people will ask is, what is the level of difficulty on the route?
It was originally designed to be one of the easier BDRs, and I still think it is doable by an intermediate rider on a full-size adventure bike, as long as they stay away from the advanced and the expert sections. It did get more difficult over the last couple of years just because of the massive snow melt that we had from last winter before last. It really did change the complexion of the route, so there are some sections that are a little bit more rutted, a little bit tougher, but they're really pretty short. So all in all, I think it's a fun route.
Yeah.
It is just a fun route.
I say it's kind of on the easier side, but not to underestimate some technical sections. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up. We do have something special for you, Ron, today. Yes, it's a surprise.
I'm going to steal your microphone.
Yes.
Okay.
We've got a special award for Ron West. This is the Route Maestro Award, and this is in recognition of leading the development of the masterpiece that is the Northern California BDR, and it really is a masterpiece. So, Ron,
thank you so
congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Ron. And there's one award also for Trevor Morton, the second architect. Trevor, if you're watching, this is for Trevor Morton, the Eagle Scout of Adventure, in recognition of his outstanding skills and dedication to planning, scouting, and developing the Northern California BDR. So thank you, yes.
Okay, we'll let you go put that in your trophy case, and we're going to show everybody your film.
Thank you.
Your route.
Okay, well, we want to extend a heartfelt thanks to our industry sponsors who made this route possible. Specifically, we want to thank our presenting sponsors, BMW Motorrad, Zero Motorcycles, Outback Motortech, and Edelweiss Bike Travel, who stepped up and helped us support this project. They believed in our mission of creating riding opportunities and creating sustainable economic impact in rural communities. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the audience. Quick reminder that we have a donation giveaway happening during this broadcast. Donate any amount over $10 and you'll be entered to win our prizes. And I think we're ready to roll the film.
Let's do it.
You know, when the miners of California finally struck gold, they would yell, Eureka, which is Greek for I found it. When you ride the Northern California Backcountry Discovery Route, you'll find gold too, but possibly a different kind of gold. BDR gold. Eureka.
The thing I like the most about the Northern California BDR is how fun the roads are. Really fun. I mean, this is one of the best roads I've ever ridden.
This route is enjoyable and diverse. It was cold, it snowed in the morning, it was rainy all day long.
I've heard a lot of different things about this route because it's been in the making for a while, and it's changed over the last couple of years. And what I've heard and starting to experience is that the beauty on this route is just everywhere.
I am used to this type of terrain, being that I do live in California, but it is a little bit different up here. You come over a crest and it's just a whole new experience.
For the last few days, I've just been in awe because I don't get to see this in the East Coast.
You at your limit?
If I wasn't, I was very close. Fun factor on a big bike, it's a 10.
There's some very mellow riding, and then the advanced sections are pretty darn advanced. I was bouncing around a lot. There's a lot of rocks to bounce on.
So much fun. You guys are going to love this section. Riding group stays here and waits for radio call from us to go. Like every BDR, there are going to be challenges. You have to be prepared for the unexpected.
It's got all the things. You'll experience the full range of human emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see a big smile on my face?
This is like Switzerland and California. It's the closest thing I've ever seen to it. It's just gorgeous. The stuff we have here in Northern California will blow people away. I don't think people know we have this stuff around.
The Northern California Backcountry Discovery Route starts in Mammoth Lakes, California, and continues north just a few miles south of the Nevada border. The route then heads due west over the crest of the Sierras to the western slope of the Range of Light before turning north, traveling west of Lake Tahoe to avoid the Desolation Wilderness. The route follows the folds of the High Sierra through quaint historic towns, interspersed between seldom traveled two-track, gravel roads, and twisty tarmac, ending in the Warner Mountains just north of Alturas at the Oregon border. The route will typically take about 6 to 7 days to complete and is approximately 940 miles in length. You know, we started scouting Northern California even before we released the southern route, and I'm really excited to finally finish the second half of California, the northern half.
I think it's actually the route that took the longest to develop. We're finally here filming it, and it's going to be a great deliverable to our community. We've got some new characters this year. We've got Richie Few from BMW Performance Center. We also have Trevor Doniak from Zero Motorcycles. And I'm really excited to welcome Chris Fant to be my women riding buddy.
We're going to go try to put some Sennas on some helmets. See how it goes. If I'm fast enough, I can do everybody's.
Trevor and I are riding the Zero DSRXs. Okay, so we did do a few adjustments to these bikes. We swapped the chain kit, or put the spoked wheels, knobby tires, of course, beefier handguards.
And then the aftermarket accessory foot pegs, a little bit more aggressive. We're getting anywhere from 100 and 120 miles of range. So yeah, I think we should be good.
I'm really positive about it. I think it's the step in the right direction. This is where the industry is moving. I'm happy to be the pioneers of electric bikes in the backcountry.
So when I showed up for this project, I really couldn't remember how many routes we had, so I had to count the stickers on the graphics that Tim designed for the bike. And here we are filming our 13th route. I never would have dreamt that.
Today we'll leave here Tamarack Lodge. We'll go to the official start. The route starts in Mammoth Lakes. It's one of the preeminent ski resorts in the country. Amazing backpacking through the Sierras. We're right next to the John Muir Trail. I think once you come here to start the route, you'll most likely want to come back and visit this particular area because it's stunningly beautiful.
This is really beautiful wilderness that I've read about, but I've never experienced, so I'm happy to be here.
The view's amazing and the sun is out, and I don't think it could get any better.
We are now at Minaret Vista, the starting point for the Northern California Backcountry Discovery Route. This area we chose because it has just tremendous views of the Ritter Range and then also of the minarets.
We typically film our routes kind of in the summertime, but right now it's end of September. We are going to finish it beginning of October, and I'm a little bit nervous about the temperatures. We heard that there might be some snow, definitely a rainstorm coming through, and morning temperatures can be anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees. I've got my 0-degree bag, and I hope we're ready for this.
This route starts good, like right from the get-go. You're instantly on this incredible two-track with the best big bike whoop-de-doos I've ever seen. And on some of the BDRs, you have a little bit of that, but on this, you have like hours of that, and it is super fun.
Are you okay?
I hit that tree with my elbow.
She was just bouncing off the trees like an enduro racer.
It's got some diagonal logs across the trail, and I think if you aim right between the diagonal logs, you'd be okay. But we all tried a different line, and it all went with varying success.
What's going on over here?
Oh, I got it on film.
There we go. That's how it's done.
Okay, so we just went through a OHV area on this bigger bike. I was taking it slow, but man, it was so fun. It's so planted. It was really stable. There's kind of a lot of different modes for the type of riding that you do. In this terrain, I was in canyon, but should have been an off-road. So yeah, I'll try that next.
So behind us is the Crestview Hotshot Camp. Hotshots were developed in the 1940s in Southern California to combat forest fires, and they really deserve our appreciation for getting out there fighting fires by hand.
We're going to split the team up here. It's a place called Obsidian Dome.
It was full of a lot of obstacles, some that we expected, some that we didn't.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep that front wheel under you.
Big kind of like ruts too, where like, you know, your tires would get in them, and if you popped out, you'd get squirrely.
That's probably the most challenging section I've seen so far. Not only was it extremely uphill, but it also had a lot of whoops in there.
Oh yeah, nice.
And then we found some roots.
I just did a big old Brody. That's what my tire hit right there. Sketchy. Oh, I crashed again. I got sand coming out of my arm.
When we get to Bodie, you'll see nothing grows in Bodie except grass. And even though we're in Northern California, not the 420 kind. And so they needed a reliable source of timber to build a town. And this was the closest stand of timber that they could get to build a town. The thing is it's still 30 miles to Bodie. And so what they did was they built the mill here to make the lumber, but then they built a narrow gauge railway from here all the way to Bodie. Now, how they got a locomotive here in the middle of nowhere at that time is just a testament, I think, to ingenuity and cheap labor. On the banks of Mono Lake, we'll see some unique formations called tufa. The tufa are formed underwater when carbonates in the lake water come in contact with fresh water bubbling up from underground springs. A chemical reaction occurs, resulting in a type of limestone that forms the tufa around the spring. Now, what's even more fascinating is about 200 miles south of us are the Trona Pinnacles, a prehistoric representation of exactly the same thing that is happening before our very eyes today at Mono Lake. Any Clint Eastwood fans in the house? Okay, so in the 1973 release of High Plains Drifter, the opening scene has Clint Eastwood coming down that slope right there, across this road, down this road to the town of Lago. Now, if you watch the film, you'll see an actual town there. Clint Eastwood had that built, about 150,000 board feet of lumber, but you'll notice there's no town there. That's because when they finished wrapping the film, they burnt the whole thing to the ground.
I was bouncing all over, but I kept it up, and then got a little squirrely coming out, but I'm still running. These batteries are fully sealed. There's no issues with going in water with these things.
That was one of the harder water crossings on a BDR.
It's deeper than you think, and the rocks are round and slippery. It's fun to watch everybody go through. You know, we all had a blast.
Got a little deeper, faster than we thought. Boots are soaking wet. Maybe I should have slowed down a little bit. It was all good.
So below us is the town of Bodie, at least what's left of it. There were 3 major fires in the history of Bodie. The last was the most devastating. It occurred, I think it was in 1934. What they've done is they've kept the town in what's called an arrested state of decay. So about the way that it was in the 70s is the way that they try to maintain it. So they just prop buildings up or fix roofs just to keep things from collapsing. We're going to go for a little tour and learn about the history, hear about the mining in Bodie, California.
I'll give you a brief history tour. As we're walking down, we're going to take a look in the Deschambault Hotel. Then I'm going to walk on up to the mill, tour the mill, and it should be interesting. Watch your step as you go through. You'll probably want to take off sunglasses.
We are in Bridgeport, California, and we are staying at the historic Bridgeport Inn. It was built in 1877 and has been a stopping place for travelers ever since then, including us.
Really fun day. It kept getting better and better all day, right?
I think you get to the good stuff faster on this BDR than any other route I've been on.
Now I know why everybody rides the BDRs. It's ridiculous.
That's gonna be cold.
Yesterday I charged my bike just from the regular outlet here.
It's not having any issues charging though, even with the battery cold. So people might have concerns about the range on an electric bike, but in most of the towns there are charging spots and you're good to go in the morning.
It's going to be an epic day, absolutely gorgeous, and let's get to it.
You know, we started off and then the group split off into the advanced route and the main route. I chose to take the main route today, which in itself was a lot of fun and had some challenges. It certainly wasn't a cakewalk, but it wasn't an advanced section.
It's just spicy enough to be interesting, but you can still immerse yourself and appreciate the beauty.
Here we go, boys. Water crossing ahead. It's a little deep.
Nicely done.
After seeing everything I seen yesterday, I'm just ecstatic to see what I'm going to see today.
Hey guys, looks like we're finally getting into this aspen grove they told us about.
It is amazing, and it's cool. The trees are just starting to turn too.
I love it, man. They just don't make this kind of riding on the East Coast.
So one of the highlights of this trip so far was riding up Mount Patterson. They have these like uphill corkscrew bermy turns that you could just barely carry your momentum through. Really smooth berms, but in the bottom was like a rock garden. It seemed like on every turn, and you're constantly crossing the rock garden to get to the smooth, crossing the rock garden to get to the other smooth. You were just crisscrossing, choosing lines. Richie and I and Trevor were just having a ball on that.
Richie's bouncing off the bushes here, doing his thing, doing wall rides, berms.
The climb up to Mount Patterson, that was just amazing. Getting up there was a challenge. I'd say probably one of the most challenging thing was the tight switchbacks with like a big, kind of water rut like towards the inside. So you really had to swing wide and then jump back across, and that water rut would kind of follow the whole trail. And so you were kind of zigzagging across the trail just to avoid that deep rut.
It's all right, cross-rutted.
Climbing to the top, you just look at this giant hill and you're like, I can't really tell how steep that is, but I'm gonna try it. Oh man, yeah, this is fun. It's not too challenging, guys. A little steepness right here. Oh, oh, oh. All right, there we go. Oh man, I'm up.
This is ridiculous. This makes no sense to me. We're definitely not in South Carolina.
I just took off my luggage to make it easier on myself hauling this big bike up to the top of the climb, so I'm gonna give it a whirl. Wish me luck. Yeah, thank goodness. Oh my God. This is the highest point on the whole thing. Nice job, guys. Holy smokes. Okay, so we just climbed up to the top of Mount Patterson, highest point on the Northern California BDR. What'd you guys think?
The climb up here was super fun, super cool, and I mean, you can't get much better of a view than this.
I don't even have words at this point. What else do you say when you get up here? Other than what goes up, let's come back down. We had a lot of terrain change going up and down. A lot of rutted areas, a lot of off-camber areas, maybe even use some engine braking as we're coming down that hill. Obviously picking the best line we can because this hill is full of jagged and loose rocks. So we always want to keep that vision up, looking out far and wide, picking the best line. What's coming next? Always thinking about what's coming next. It's a lot of loose, big rocks, a lot of jagged rocks coming down the hill. Loose rocks all the way down.
It alternates between embedded rock and just beautiful ribbons of smooth, buff, two-track with nice berms. Man, you just get so focused, picking lines, thinking about, what speed you should have, and you're just constantly processing information, and it's kind of thrilling. You got to really remember to use your legs and try to keep the weight out of your hands, but it's pretty hard to do in this particular loose rock, downhill, shaly bits. Kind of got to let the bike go where it wants, you know. You don't want to get too bossy telling your bike where to go in this stuff. Man, what a hoot. So much fun. This is a flowy, good, groovy section.
So we just came through the sand. Not only was it deep, not only was it long, it also had boulders and rocks placed throughout there.
It meandered, so you were constantly having to turn, avoid rocks. I hit one really hard and managed to keep rolling a little ways and then just tipped over. It is one of the tougher sand sections I've ever done. Just a different combination of hazards in there made it really tough.
There's not a ton of pavement in this route. The pavement that is in this route is outstanding.
Abbott's Pass is absolutely amazing. As we get up that way, we actually lose the center line, so it becomes a one-lane paved road.
Twisty, turny, probably some of the best pavement of any BDR I've ever ridden.
Super flowy, super fun. It's been a great start to the route.
These are our glamping tents. They have solar panels out there, so it powers these cute little lights that go around the room, and they give everybody battery operated lanterns. There's showers and bathrooms, so they provide you with towels. This is a really cool spot. All right, well, let's go get on the road. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's snowing. Can you believe it?
Well, last night was some kind of excitement happening in your and Tim's tent. Can you tell us about it?
And then all of a sudden we got this bad smell, looked over, and his smart wool socks were on top of his little fireplace insert, and they were smoking. And so I grabbed them and threw them outside, and they were like crispy bacon. They were totally toasted.
Something smells, and my socks were on fire.
So you have this nice Revit gear, and this particular suit comes with the warm layer and the rain layer. Did you pack those?
No, I did not. Do you have to rub it in?
I do. How are you going to survive today?
I've got a lot of layers on, none of which are waterproof, but I feel pretty warm.
Are they snowproof?
We're going to find out.
We've got about 100% chance of precipitation. So let's stay warm, stay safe, and enjoy day 3.
And I don't remember checking the box to go ride in 20, 30 degree weather for snow, but it's all good. Well, I'm just going to put the GS in rain mode, and that's going to manage our traction on the wet surface, going to manage our ABS, and also is going to manage our throttle response.
One of the things I'm really appreciating are the ride modes on this bike. We just peeled off onto this Forest Service road, so I just put it back into Enduro Pro, and we're just playing, having fun. You can get that back tire to break loose a little bit. You've got ABS on the front, so it's really safe when you're coming into corners.
Yeah, this was super fun. Chris and I were just switching and chasing each other.
Twisty fun, a little bit of rock, a little bit of whoops, a little bit of washout.
Super, super fun road.
And you can see that the rain has come back again.
Gotten a little wet, but this Revit gear does a pretty good job, even though it's not supposed to be waterproof. I am not soaked through yet.
It's life in the warm truck.
It's warm and dry.
It was just coming down like cats and dogs. At one point it got down to 37 degrees. You know, your fingers are stinging. It just kind of gets pretty miserable. There's not much you can do to stay happy in those conditions.
I'm trying to move my body a little bit. That's the only thing I do, because I'm now soaked to the core, and I can't feel my fingers.
The group got together, so we're going to skip a section because it's going to be really muddy. We don't want to get hurt. And then the following section was closed, so we're just going to take pavement. So kind of changing plans on the fly to make sure everybody stays safe.
So we hit the gas station here to get some coffee and some snacks to get ready for the next section.
The toughest moment on this trip had to have been that cold, rainy day. Having the right gear is a big deal. Having waterproof gear is a big deal. Gloves especially. If your toes get cold or your hands get cold, it's hard to get them back warmed up again.
All right, gather around, boys and girls. It's Uncle Ron's story time. We are on the actual trail of the Pony Express. Between 1860 and 1861, intrepid riders would ride up this trail, their satchels full of mail, from Missouri to San Francisco, which is about, I think the Pony Express Trail was 1,966 miles. They would do that in an average of 10 days. So as we continue on, let's take a little bit of that Pony Express can-do spirit as we continue to explore the wonders, the majesty, the weather, the history of the Northern California Backcountry Discovery Route.
Oh my gosh, we're almost to Uncle Tom's cabin, and there's Ina in front of me on the zero, rocking the dirt road in. It is muddy after all this rain. Woo-wee. Some days are sunny, and some days you embrace the sun.
We just arrived at Uncle Tom's cabin, our home for the night. It's supposed to be camping, but we have one cabin in the back. But for the boys, we're going to be auctioning off spots on the floor. It's a BDR fundraiser.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
good
always
idea.
thinking.
You were always thinking.
I'm just going to show you how much water is in each boot. There's one. Oh my God. oh. Here's two.
Day 3 was one of the coldest, wettest, kind of miserable days I can remember on the BDR, but then we were rewarded by this magical experience when we got to Uncle Tom's cabin. A short walk over, there was this hidden bar, and it was just incredible. It had these dollar bills on the ceilings. You could tell that it had been there forever. I mean, it was really a special place when we walked in. It was warm. There was a 2-piece band playing, and the bartenders were so welcoming. We ended up having the best possible ending to a day that was really cold, wet, and just pretty tough.
I'm Owen B, and I'm here because all the cool kids are here.
We love Uncle Tom's cabin. We love coming up here. It's amazing.
Uncle Tom's has been here since 1864. It was a 40-acre homestead. People would just stop in to get a beer, to eat food, to get communion through 12-ounce cans. You know, like, people are just here to have a good time.
We are at Uncle Tom's cabin, having a few drinks, a little bit relaxing after a wet day.
She said, basically, you got to punch somebody's grandma to get 86 out of this place.
And that's only happened like 4 times.
And that's only happened 4 times. So
This whole place is run by volunteers. We just volunteer our time to keep this place, to keep the history going.
the BDR, our organization, is volunteer powered as well. We like sending motorcyclists on these cool routes to experience places like this and some of the best riding.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you to Bivouac.
Better than gas station coffee?
Yeah.
And if you can, absolutely come camp here. It's just a really cool place, just a gem on the NorCal BDR.
No matter how tough it was, how cold, how wet, how hungry we were, everyone was in such a good mood. And I think that's not only just a testament to the individuals that are here, but I think BDR riders in general, it just attracts a particular type of individual that no matter what gets thrown at them, you know, they look at it as just part of the adventure. So thank you for making the trip so far memorable, rewarding, and fun. This whole area burned, and we're going to see a lot of evidence of burned forests in this route. What the Forest Service does is allow private companies to go through, harvest whatever wood is salvageable, and then what they do is, because it's too expensive to take it out, they just build it in big piles, almost look like teepees, and then generally when we get the first significant snowfall, they'll come in and they'll light them on fire. So some pretty spectacular bonfires happen late fall.
On our tracks it says start downhill technical, so of course I see technical. My heart starts beating a little faster. In my mind, I'm starting to worry and I'm starting to get scared, and I just need to get over this fear, remember all the skills that I've been practicing, and just, take it on as something like a challenge, but not feel scared inside. So I'm still working on that. It's all mental, as Jocelyn Snow says. She's right.
Was fantastic, and there were a lot of puddles for splashing, which is my favorite.
The rain really helped out. There's no dust. It was really, really fun.
Hey Nathan, it's Chris, and we are next to French Meadows Lake. Ron's bike is done.
Yeah, it just sucks because I just spent $2,000 on this bike to get the engine rebuilt.
So what's our plan, Ron? Do we have one yet?
We don't.
And what are you going to ride?
I'm going to two up. No.
We need to figure out how to get Ron's bike out of here and get your bike here.
Okay. So you guys can carry on.
I really love this section because it's fairly technical, but you can still pick your line, so it makes it really fun.
The trees through here are pretty spectacular. Wow, look at the size of this one. They have signs posted that they would like us to please slow down. So when you come through this area, please do watch your speed. People live here, and you should ride with respect when passing through this part of the Northern California BDR.
Just off our route are the Chinese tunnels, which began construction in 1866 when the Central Pacific Railroad recruited largely Chinese labor to complete the Transcontinental Railroad through the last formidable barrier to connect the East and the West by rail, and that was the Sierra Nevada. The Summit Tunnel is over 1,600 feet long, and often progress was measured in inches per day, blasting through solid granite and then removing the rubble by hand. Unfortunately, many lost their lives in the effort and then faced discrimination and deportation with the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, which caused many Chinese, which were already all but forbidden from U.S. citizenship, to return to China. Right on our route, we will have the opportunity to visit Donner Memorial State Park and learn a little bit about the Donner Party, which is an absolute testament to the human spirit and will to survive, even though the story is disturbing. Back in the spring of 1846, 90 immigrants left Springfield, Illinois, headed for new life in California, and many of which were children. They attempted a shortcut to California, only to arrive at this very location late fall during an epic Sierra snowstorm. The Donner Party, stranded with no food or hope of rescue, dying of exposure and disease, resulted in cannibalism of their dead to survive. Welcome to day 5. Trevor Morton joined us at 2:45 this morning. I think you might have thought out by now. So Trevor is the reason that this route is as good as it is. So Trevor, my bike died yesterday, so fortunately we had a loaner bike in the trailer. So I'll be riding Nathan's bike, but I can't ride it like Nathan.
So we're going to be following this just a little bit further. We're going to have the option to take an advanced section up to Verdi Peak, which is a decommissioned fire lookout.
It was definitely tough. It was rocky. You bounced around a lot. You had to choose your line, and sometimes it was very little line choices. It was good cardio, good workout on your legs, arms, hands, everything.
Not real steep, just a ton of embedded rocks. Man, it really shakes the bike around. You can lose the front wheel fast.
So we were coming up Verdi Peak here, our advanced section. It's pretty rocky, a lot of bumping around, a lot of rocks, and I happened to hear a weird noise, kind of a banging noise. And apparently the bolt's backed out of my bash plate, and now we got to do a quick fix, either zip ties or wire or...
This one? See if that'll work.
Fits like a glove. It was actually sort of shockingly easy. We really lucked out. If Tim hadn't had the perfect bolt at the perfect time, I'd still be tinkering, and I would not be very confident in the fix.
Oh, I took a bad line there. Helmet camera guy gets the lines every time. Oh man, I'm going down to first gear. Tractor up this is rough. Hopefully there's a view up here to reward us for the punishment. Nicely done, sir.
But when you get to the top, you are rewarded with an absolutely unbelievable view. It's worth the climb. So the juice is worth the squeeze.
I'm still sweating. My glasses are fogged up. That was tough sledding coming up that. It was like a paint shaker most of the way, but this guy was killing it.
Did okay, much lighter bike, but man, it's a beating though. It's some of those rocks, like just when you think you have a line, you see where you want to go, you're going towards it, you hit a rock, and then you have no line. You're just trying to hang on and not just keep it on the trail. That's Reno. We got Verdi. We're on the Nevada border right now.
I'm being really bad today. I had a chocolate croissant in the morning, but have a pie for lunch. All good.
We're in Sierraville right now. Stopped off here to grab some supplies and gas and all that stuff, and then we're going to head due south back down to Hennis Pass Road. Hennis Pass is massively famous. This was the thoroughfare up and over the Sierras before the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 or whatever it was. This is before we had GPS messenger systems and all that stuff. I mean, it was a pretty adventurous thing to do back then, so it's kind of cool to come full circle here now as we are on our electric bikes of all things.
Oh, nice. Look at that view.
See that little knob at the very top there?
Yeah.
That's the fire lookout. That's where we'll be tomorrow.
What?
We are about ready to start our final descent into the town of Downeyville, and we're going to drop approximately 2,500 feet in 3 miles.
So what we're going to look at, some tips would be, we want to be sure we're looking out far and wide, take in all we can take in, looking for whatever's coming next. We're going to cover our controls 100% of the time going down the hill. Just in case something goes awry, we get the clutch in, we've cut all the power to the rear tire, and we can start applying brake if needed. Body position, I'd recommend getting your weight back so far that, but not so far that you've locked the arms out. That way we can still manipulate the handlebars if needed. Brake of choice going down the hill, probably the safest brake's going to be the front brake, and the reason that is, when I'm going down the hill, where's all my weight transfer to? Front tire. So that's where I'm going to have all my traction. That's where I have all my stopping power.
Don't carry too much speed going down, because then if you do have to slow down fast, you could tuck the front end. So just keeping your speed slow and looking ahead and being on the brakes.
And hope for the best.
And hope for the best.
It can be very muddy if there's been rain. If it's muddy, you're going to slide all the way down. And if you're staying in the same hotel we will, you'll slide right into your bed for the evening.
You got to be on the brakes the whole time.
It's survivable, I would say.
I gained 5% back going down the grade back into the battery, so that was awesome.
We're in the Downeyville River Inn Resort, a really cute little place right on the river. We pulled in last night, and conveniently they have a Tesla charger right in their parking lot. So we're at 110% again, and we're ready to go and face the day.
This is one of our quintessential and picture-perfect gold rush towns that still very much looks like it did back in the day. Gold was originally discovered here in 1849, and within a year there was 5,000 people here that flooded this area to seek their fortune. This actually at one point was one of the cities that was actually being considered to be the capital of California. These days it's more of a tourism town. Summers are oftentimes people coming out for fishing and especially for mountain biking. This is a mountain biking mecca. Every single time I come here, I always get an ice cream sandwich. Makes me happy. So today's going to be an interesting one because we're doing an advanced section that climbs from Sierra City. We're going to be climbing 4,400 something feet up to Sierra Buttes. The route up, it's not technically difficult, but is visually big. And so if you're afraid of heights, honestly, I wouldn't do it.
Man, look at this view, you guys.
This is awesome.
It's hard to keep your eyes on the road. Oh, rock slab, don't hit your painters on that. Oh man, it's really narrow on that inside lane. Watch your bags, boys.
This part's actually pretty easy, but once it gets steep, it gets fairly steep, where again, you need that momentum. It gets really kind of roller coastery left and right.
This last section was really technical. It was very steep, had to be on the gas the entire time.
That was almost unrelentingly steep. And Ina was on my tail the whole time. She rocked it. It was great.
Chris, for all the shady view ladies out there, we can do this.
So we just made it to the parking lot that would be the last section up to the top of Sierra Butte.
I got my butt kicked by that climb, but I came down here and there's a warm sun and this comfy little pillow of a rock, and thought I'd take a little nap.
The rest of the group is riding to the very top. Ron and I are hiking. Ina took a pass on the hard expert section to the top, but amazing Chris Fant is gonna...
She's gonna give it a go.
Give it a go, so I'm gonna be cheering for her.
This is certainly one of the most advanced sections on any of our routes. It's hairpin turns, super loose, rocky ledges. You're gonna have to bring your A game to get to the top.
This is, I think, one of the hardest climbs I've ever done, certainly on a 1250. It was a handful.
The road to get up there, well, it's not just technical, but it's terrorizing. Literally looks like if you make a wrong turn, you will end up in the town of Sierra City, a couple, 3,000 feet below.
Keep your momentum, pick your lines, and stay in first gear. It's got all the things. You'll experience the full range of human emotions.
It was really hopefully the entire team would make it up here, and they did. It's just a spectacular point on the Northern California BDR, and so I encourage everyone, even if you don't make it up the last advanced section, definitely park your bike and take the short hike up because the view is absolutely worth it.
As if it wasn't enough work riding a motorcycle up here, you've got to hoof it to get to the top. This catwalk is pretty crazy. As you can see, it literally just is like a ladder connecting a couple rocks together. It goes through the open space. It's incredible. Finally, I can see the lookout right in front of me. I don't think I've ever been up on a fire lookout that's as spectacular as this one, just perched on these rocks. What do you think about this, Chris?
This is phenomenal. I feel like you could see like our house in Oregon all the way over there. It's so beautiful.
It's amazing the places that your motorcycle takes you to the very top of the world.
Yeah, there's a trail below us, which is the Pacific Crest Trail, which goes from Mexico all the way to Canada through these alpine areas, and we just sort of intersected it, and we're above it right now. And it's pretty rare to be able to see that from a motorcycle because it's usually tucked away in places you can't access with motor vehicles.
Got the summit register here. Last person up here was 9/19/23, BDR.
looking down is actually really scary, but every day we're getting a better and better view. It's so cool.
It's crazy.
Jump.
Okay, no more of that. Sorry, guys.
I tell you what, wearing these motorcycle boots going up and down these little narrow stairs is something I wanted to be kind of careful about. I can just imagine pitching forward and going for a big tumble. Now we have to ride ourselves down this mountain.
Definitely harder for me going down than going up. My bike actually somehow got back into street traction and ABS, so I had ABS on both brakes.
But going down, line choice is super important. A lot of broken loose rocks around, jagged rocks, some big boulders right in the center of the track. So you had to be looking ahead, picking lines early, all the way down.
You are doing amazing on that big bike. It just wants to go. Give me a high five, Ina. Yeah, baby!
Once we descend off the dizzying heights of Sierra Buttes, we arrive in the sleepy little town of Graygle and my favorite espresso on the route. While many of the towns that we visit were established for mining operations, this one was built as a company town to support a sawmill back in 1916. And the small red buildings were originally housing for employees of the mill, but are now art and boutique shops.
Can we get 2 of your kombuchas?
Say there's the card. You're an expensive date, Paul.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're standing here at the Brewing Lair, which is a more or less outdoor brewery.
They've got this nice picnic area with decks. They've got this beautiful building. They've got outhouses with a little outdoor wash station, so it's perfect for coming off the dusty trail. You can eat, drink, kind of recharge for the next section of the BDR.
And I just noticed there is something leaking.
It's empty, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of good options to fix it.
It looks green, it looks like coolant, but we noticed this was loose, so I'm going to at least zip tie this and figure out what else is wrong with the bike later.
Been a really interesting trail so far. Started off kind of rocky and twisty uphill, then it went kind of crested and along the ridge. It was absolutely beautiful, loamy, lots of traction.
Wonderful smells reminded me of being in the Pacific Northwest. Tim was behind me and he's like, man, we don't get fresh smells like this in Jersey. So it almost feels like we're on the Wabder.
Almost had it, so I lost the front wheel.
We were coming up that hill, managed to lose my front end, went down and kind of did a little roll out of that.
So I went up on the side of the mountain to get around. I got around and then lost my front tire because it was so rocky.
You know, back in a situation where we're having to work out a little bit to get up this trail. So I'm already pretty sweaty. I don't know about you guys, but we're having to earn it tonight. That's for sure.
If I was by myself and I was stuck under this bike, there's no way I could have gotten out. Yeah, under 701 I could always climb out, but not under this bike. But let's see if we can make it back to the top. 1, 2, 3, grab!
Teamwork, that's what it's all about. You can do this as long as you have good team members.
So we're just coming through a burned out section of forest, and there's all these low-hanging trees sticking out into the trail, and you got to be really careful.
This tree was sticking right here, kind of like that. As soon as I came around this corner, took it right in the chest.
Nothing good happens after 5 p.m. on a BDR, so let's just slow down, enjoy the flow, kind of groove out, not charge it anymore. Oh, look at that view. That's beautiful. Nice lighting.
So Chris, you got a new motorcycle. I want to know if you've named it yet.
I have not named it yet.
What?
I haven't even decided if it's a boy or a girl yet.
Have you ever ridden a Suzuki before?
I have. I
Okay.
had one before I had my KTM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you should feel right at home.
Right.
Well, welcome to day 7. We are in the quaint town of Quincy. A lot of fun, fast, gravel, easy roads today. Nothing like the challenges that we had yesterday.
Here is Chris on her new bike.
Woohoo, new bike day.
New day, new bike.
A DR650 is a really great option for riding BDR. We tell people all the time, you know, if you've only got 3, 4, 5 grand to spend, a DR650 is very capable and a good bike to start out on.
This is like a rally in the woods here.
Yeah, we had some gravel. And then what was that next surface? It was so nice and tacky, the dirt.
Yeah, I was happy to get off the slippery gravel, twisty gravel roads. Those are dangerous.
So we're at Argentine Rock above Quincy, kinda. So they're rebuilding this lookout right now, not for fire service purposes, but to be able to actually rent it out. You've got to go online, pick your dates, and have a night stay with one heck of a view of the area.
Man, these stairs are kind of gnarly.
I am feeling this elevation.
There's a foundation that's doing all the rebuilding, and it'll be really cool once they're done to come up here and spend the night.
This is pretty cool.
You can see for miles.
Windy and a little unstable, but really cool views.
Ooh-wee. Good, clean fun.
Day 7 starting out good. This whole fire road that we came up right now was super fun and smooth, flowy. I want to let Trevor ride the Zero. I'm going to jump on his 690 and let him take the Zero DSRX for a rip.
I am curious. When I first rode this bike, I honestly didn't think I was going to like it, but it's so smooth and so quiet, you can actually hear the wind and the trees you're going past, and it's just a different relationship with the trail, and I loved it.
So Chris, tell me a little bit about what ride right means.
Ride right is staying to the right of the road because you never know when you come around a corner. I have seen deer, I have seen F-150s, I have seen GSs right in that left track. And I like to stay right just because I don't want to have a head-on collision out here. Kind of a long way from any help, medically or mechanically.
We just pulled into Taylorsville. This cute, quaint little town has no gas station. However, it's got 2 electric charging stations, and I'm at about 75%, so I'm gonna get some charge while we have lunch.
Well, I've been doing solar since 1982, and it's my goal to try to reduce my environmental impact on the planet.
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Allows us a chance to have some lunch while we plug in and recharge our batteries.
Yep.
So Young's Market has been here 161 years. It's always been a market here in Taylorsville. The cash register is 110 on the 19th of this month. She has a birthday, October 19, 1914.
They have a lot of cool stuff, things to eat, milkshakes, and it's really nice and clean.
We're just now passing Round Valley Reservoir here as we kind of meander our way northwest towards Lake Almanor.
We just drove through a section of the Dixie Fire that burned almost 1 million acres in 2021, and we'll see more evidence of it as we continue onward.
I picked up a little stick here. It went right through my center stand. So I think I can just hopefully pull that thing out. It's kind of bound up in there, but there we go. Anytime your bike starts making a sound that you think something might be off, stop and check it out.
I had to turn on the GoPro for this.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Well, we're sitting in the little historic town of Seneca, and there's a game of horseshoes going on. Even the film crew are excited. They just got their cameras and they could turn on slow-mo.
This was a mining town that was back in the 1800s, and there was an old gin mill, but unfortunately, during the Dixie Fire, that original cabin was burnt down, so they kind of rebuilt this in the vein of the original cabin, but it just doesn't have the same historic feel to it. In fact, there was a player piano in there that was really, really cool.
So I've been doing this adventure riding for 25 years now. I've never broken a bone in my body or not finished a route that I set out to finish. But I've always wondered like when that day would come, and it turns out it happened on this trip on the California BDR, and it was a deer of all things.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just a little in shock. I hit a deer.
You hit a deer?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A deer bounded out in front of me, and I just grabbed a handful of brakes and skidded, and just hit him. And that sent my bike into a spin. Totally lost control. Ended up basically on the side of the road with my bike halfway down the side of the hill. I'm okay, except for my wrist is real sore.
Rear tire was here, and front tire was pretty much down here. And you can see the marks on the tree where I think his bags and stuff hit.
Ready?
Yep. Cool, a little bit more.
Yeah, it stings.
His wrist is either broken or really badly sprained, so we're trying to get a hold of Nathan, have him come here and pick up the bike.
I just wish my helmet camera was rolling on that one.
Yeah.
High five? No.
We're gonna get Sterling in the truck, load the bike up. We'll take him to urgent care, take some photos of his wrist, try and see what's going on there. There's not much I can do to help Sterling right now other than give him some peanut M&Ms because they make everything better.
See you later. And we're headed to Quincy to go to the ER to get my wrist looked at, and we get a phone call from the team saying that we have to come to Chester right away because Eli broke his leg.
Eli, our star photographer, came around a corner and hit one of those trees sticking out of the woods.
Big bummer, we're dropping like flies out here. It's too bad.
Suddenly the California North BDR just falls apart.
It's claiming lots of victims. There's bikes and people.
Wow.
So we're in Chester starting day 8. Unfortunately, our director Sterling and our photographer Eli are not going to be continuing forward with us. So it's always a bummer to have to see people leave one of these projects, but it is the reality. It's a little bit of a dangerous sport, so we're going to wish them the best and try and continue to the end without them.
We need to make time today because we're starting pretty late, and we decided to make some sandwiches for the road.
A few days ago, you may remember, I developed a crack in the radiator. Ethan repaired the Tigger. Tigger's back. We're going to try to take her to the border.
The mood is a little somber today. Trying to stay positive and finish the route strong. So this section from Chester in the forest, it's really fun. Flowy 2-track. Bit of everything here, mud and embedded rocks and ruts. It's such a nice experience because we're so quiet and stealthy.
Yeah, it really is. You know, we're not disturbing any animals, and it's, you know, you're on this giant machine that has tons of power, and, you know, it's completely silent. I think it's really, really cool.
Zero noise pollution.
This was once a gravel road that very few people use, obviously, anymore. Yeah, there's gravel down there.
Chris has lost her pannier for the second time.
You know the road's bumpy when the panniers are falling off.
I must not have tightened it quite enough for these jumps. So I'm going to go try that again.
The master link popped off the chain. We've tried wiring it together.
We're gonna give this a test and just see if this chain will hold.
Here we go. Nope, too bad. I broke.
Michael normally carries a master link, and he thinks he must have consumed it on a previous trip and not put it back. So we're back to where we started.
We don't have a master link, so we'll need to grab one from you.
Tall Trevor and I are going to try and get a master link and get this thing back on the road, and then we'll catch up with you guys at the camp spot tonight.
So in the last 24 hours, we had 2 of our production crew guys wind up with injuries and get taken out. We've had a couple different mechanical issues, and it really just kind of drives home just how important it is to have good safety plan for you and your entire group you're riding with. I think communication is huge. I think having some kind of GPS, beacon, messenger, whatever it is, as long as it works. So when you're off the grid, as we tend to be when we take trips like this, that you have a means of calling help and actually getting someone dispatched to you if you need it. It's also important to have the right stuff, have supplies, things to clean wounds with, stop bleeding, even SAM splints and wraps in case someone has broken something, just like we had twice yesterday. I think that's important, and equally important as that is having the right training. I think knowing how to use the stuff that that you have with you. Equally important, I think there's a lot of options out there as far as resources, whether it's Red Cross first aid, or if you're retired and have all the free time, go take an EMT course. It's good stuff, and it's good to have in your back pocket. So that way you, at the end of your trip, get to go home in one piece, and hopefully your bike does too.
Nation's first solar cell-powered lookout tower. It was dedicated July 19th, 1978, and it is one of 2 with the octagon or hexagon shape.
And here's the original envelope from NASA. Isn't that cool?
Oh yeah, this is definitely rocky.
And you gotta watch those bushes on the edges, reaching out, trying to grab you.
Pulled up here to our waypoint after that last lookout. Noticed the tire was flat.
We got it.
This route is throwing all kinds of obstacles at us.
More leverage. Right. That's the goods.
How you doing?
Your dog rides with you all the time?
Yes. She's afraid of everything else. Yeah. She loves the motorcycle, though.
Some master links.
Master drug links.
Okay. Ooh, that looks like the good stuff. Thank you. That was a little further of a haul than I thought, but
You need a chain breaker?
I would recommend giving us anything you think we might need.
This is a chain tool if we needed to press it through, and then he also gave us a pair of needle nose pliers.
Come on, little fella.
Trevor and I fixed his repair. Now we're hitting the highway back. Been about an hour and a half ride, and we just got onto Highway 299, and we just saw a big block right on the side of the road.
Yeah. It was 5 hours of highway for a little master link.
This morning there is a short advanced section.
Whew. I was first one up the hill. I think it made it easier for me because I didn't know what to expect. The DSRX is just so stable, and not having to deal with the clutch is kind of definitely positive and makes it easier to go up. Oh man. Good job, Zero. I love you. I'm so happy with this bike. I feel like it just carries me on. Woo! I'm just really in love with this bike, and I'm not just doing it lip service. I feel like it made me a better rider. The bike itself has a lot of torque, really smooth delivery. It handles the corners really well. The weight is done low. It's easier to ride in the sense that you don't have to think about shifting, and it's just a joy to ride. And I feel like this particular route was just a perfect way to experience the bike and the route.
This was the ultimate test for the bike. We've never ran it for 9 days on really, really rough terrain, and now we've done it and proved the bike can do it, and we've literally had hardly any issues. And so I think that's a testament to the bike, that it is durable and can handle any of this stuff out here on the Northern California BDR.
You know, the throttle's really twitchy on this bike, and I just didn't have any traction. I fell over once, fell over twice. Turned the bike over to Trevor, and he rode it up the last little steep part for me, so I'm not too proud to let somebody else do it.
This is steep, loose, rocky. I would not do this by yourself. I would make sure you got a good team with you.
The most difficult part was keeping the momentum with all those loose rocks with the steep grade that the hill was.
You want to really stay in as good a line as possible, enough speed to carry your momentum, absorb the little bings and bongs, and so I just bounced off my line into a really line. See if I can nudge this out of the way. There you go. If you can't get over it, move it.
As we're coming towards the Oregon border, we're getting back into some of that high elevation desert. So it's fun to kind of bring it home and kind of almost wrap up in a similar scenery to where we started.
We just came to a gate in ranch lands. The gate was closed, so we just opened up the gate. We're going to let everyone through, and I'm going to personally make sure that thing gets closed. One of the rules of RideBDR is you always leave the gate as you found it. This one we found closed, so we opened it, and we're going to let our team go through, and then I'm going to make sure it gets closed.
I think a wasp got in my jacket, and he wasn't too pleased with it. This whole area is kind of burning at the moment.
Man, it's rocky, but I don't see any rocks, but I'm bouncing.
It's like sticks. I think it's like beauty barky. It's kind of like a riverbed, or, you know, there's a drainage here, so it's accumulated stones and stuff.
Oh man. Okay, there's a tree. Paul,
Yep,
I'm coming.
Come over.
There's so many fun sections on this route. Paul and I were just talking that there's not a dull moment on this route.
It's all killer and no filler.
Uh-huh. I like that. Woo, 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 woo.
Out here on the ABDR, all these elements are just one right after the other. So that's why it's very important to come get the training, getting the skill set up to where we don't have to think about A, and now I have to stop and think about B, and now I have to think about C. It just starts flowing more fluid, if you will, as we're out here on ABDR.
Welcome to the last day. We're staying in the historic Niles Hotel that was built in 1908. I know we could have found more comfortable lodging, but to be able to stay in the same hotel, the same room, probably some of you thought the same bed, right? That those early pioneers did, just really, to me, really connects me to the route.
So we just got to Sugar Hill. The route here was awesome. Super tight trail, grippy dirt, but there's a lot of little rocks that are kind of hiding in the shadows. Every once in a while you come out to a clearing, you can actually see kind of the Goose Lake area. The views are just huge. And then boom, back into tight, kind of dark, deep forest kind of riding.
Yeah, we're up here at Sugar Hill Lookout and looking out into the Oregon border.
Been an amazing trip, and I'm also really sad because it's ending.
Yeah, it's a little soft in here, a little unpredictable, a little hard to see with the dust, and definitely off camber.
Yeah, it's really soft. and off camera at the same time.
Several factors making it a little bit of a challenge, but it's fun.
It's great to finally finish the Northern California BDR and just turn this route over to the community. I thought it would be finished when I was a lot younger. At 67 now, I'm starting to feel it.
I'm pleased that we now can ride a BDR from Mexico to the Canadian border. I think it's just such a huge gift to the community.
I think this route has a little bit of something for everyone, and the scenery is completely and 100% epic.
BDRs are designed to be aspirational. They're not for beginners. You've got to have some experience, but this is a great route to kind of get your feet wet on what BDR is all about.
I think it's top of the list in terms of fun factor. I think it's probably in the middle in terms of difficulty.
Now I have a connection with the students that come in that saying, hey, we're here to train for a BDR, and we try to help them do that. And now I have a little more understanding of what these guys and gals are looking for.
I'm excited to like end it just because my body's starting to wear out, but at the same time, you know, like this group of people is like, it's so fun to hang out with, and all the riding we're doing is awesome.
You go to a place in your mind where you've just like completely untethered yourself from your normal workaday world for a period of time. To me, that's kind of the most important thing about the whole thing is having that experience and being able to share it with other people through the BDR.
I think what I'm taking with me is the flavor of Northern California, which is history, diverse terrain, and then this deep feeling of friendship and trust in getting to be with people that have supported me, and we've gotten to get through things together.
There's the sign for Oregon right there. Woohoo! Nicely done, sir. So much fun riding with you. Nice job, man. Number 13, we in the books.
Like every BDR trip, this one was so rewarding and just outstanding. I can't wait to share this with the community.
Really well done to the architects of this route. It was so good. Ina and I were joking around. It's all killer and no filler on the Northern California BDR.
That's a new hashtag for the NorCal.
Mexico to Canada BDR. Yeah. Okay, hello everybody. We're back coming to you live from the annual fundraiser in Tonopah, Nevada with our live audience. Let's hear the live audience. So much fun with a room full of people. Once again, I'm Paul Gillian. This is Ina Thorne. We hope you all enjoyed the film, got to see the adventure that we had out in Northern California. We are super proud of this route. It was so much fun to ride. And I hope that you are all planning to ride this route this summer. Anything else?
Yeah, we actually have a film festival coming up.
Ah.
So let's talk about some opportunities for aspiring filmmakers.
Okay, so if you enjoy sharing your adventures and your rides with us, and you want to create your own short film, don't miss the 5th annual BDR Film Festival. You can showcase your 100-second film. You can submit it. Your submissions are due November 15th, and then the festival will be broadcast on December 3rd.
Yeah, December 3rd, which is a Giving Tuesday this year. Yeah, we had this festival over the last 4 years, and we've seen some incredible films from our community, and we're excited to continue this tradition going. We have a dedicated website, filmfestival.ridebdr.com. So grab your helmet cam, your drone footage, cell phone footage, put on your creative hat, and submit your 100-second BDR film to us, and hopefully you'll be entered to win some incredible prizes. I think this year we have over $10,000 worth of prizes. So
holy smokes!
Yeah. All right, a quick donation reminder. In about a minute, we will be closing our drawing. Robert, are you ready to find the winners for us? Yeah. So we'll be announcing the winners in a few minutes here, and what else do we have going on? I guess maybe
let's review the prizes real quick.
Okay.
So we've got the NorCal BDR bundle. It's the map, the sticker, the custom jersey. We've got the Touratech Arventuro Carbon Pro helmet. This is the 3rd generation of our legendary helmet. It's the official helmet of the BDR. And then we've got the Austin Moto Adventures 5-day Big Bend tour, and that's the newest BDR X. So that's a tour with a tour company. Okay, so let's talk questions. There were some questions in the chat. Any questions from the room, we'll take them. Just put your hand up in the air and we'll
start
call
with
on
the
you.
chat while they think about
okay.
that. First of all, there was just a shout out to Chris Fant. Who
shout out to Chris Fant. Yeah. Yeah. Chris was so much fun. You can tell from the film, she's always laughing, always having a good time. She can make a rainy day the best day of your life. She's really fantastic. Anything else about Chris?
Yeah, just a joy to ride with, and she was ready to tackle any terrain. Like speaking of myself, sometimes if I see something technical, I'll probably skip it, but she was ready to go, and she wasn't scared. She was amazing, like just an inspiration for all the women out there that you know, just get on the bike and do it, and you'll have amazing adventures. And her laughter, like I still, in the film, you know, I can still hear it in my head.
And
so.
Didn't she recently win an award?
Yes, we had an award for her. Unfortunately, Nathan and Chris usually come to these fundraisers. Nathan won the Eagle Scout of Adventure Award last year for scouting the Oregon BDR film route. Chris got an award this year for the BDR Team Spirit.
Team Spirit, okay,
Team Spirit
that's totally fitting for Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, let's hear some questions about the Northern California route.
Questions? I got some more from the chat.
Okay, let's hear it.
Lots of pretty civil discussion on the appearance of the Zero in this film. Ina, you had a chance to ride it the entire route. Maybe you can chat about that for a second.
Yeah, a question about having zeros in the film. You saw my reactions in the film to the bike. In terms of riding it, it was extremely fun and easy. You know, there's definitely concern about the range. Off-road, these bikes can do anywhere between 100 and 120 miles. We planned the route and the itinerary to accommodate for that range. And truthfully, when we film, we can't really do more than like 120 miles anyways. So that wasn't an issue. You know, we did a couple times when the roads were closed and we had to do a longer workaround. We did have to charge it, but
and sometimes you asked us on the GSs to slow down on the highway.
Well, yeah, riding it like
at highway speeds they go through the battery pretty quick. They
Yeah.
do better on the slower speed technical stuff. When they're pushing a lot of air, they really go through the battery. So there are still some differences from the gas bikes, but Ina didn't stall the motorcycle once on this trip.
Yeah, that was hard to do.
On technical terrain, I mean, they are a cheater bike. They really go up very well. Just you don't have to worry about the clutch or stalling. Endless torque. You can balance at slow speeds. I mean, they're really pretty cool. I got a chance to ride it. It wasn't in the film, but I got to ride it a little bit, and it was pretty darn fun. You wonder what to do into those first corners because you don't have a clutch or gears to shift, so it kind of feels weird, but They're pretty slick, and a lot of people like them.
Yeah, I compare it to like an experience when the first time you get into a Tesla car, and it's just like a completely different ethereal experience, and it was kind of like that on the bike. Anybody who rode it on the trip really loved it.
Okay, next question.
Go ahead, shout out.
Can you share what that bike might cost all set up for that
What does what's the cost of a Zero DSRX?
Gosh, I feel like they started at 20 maybe.
Yeah, they were in the low 20s. I think they were.
They've made some modifications to the newer model. You know, so some mods we did you don't have to do anymore.
They're less.
But they're definitely, you need less aftermarket parts than you do on a regular bike because there's not much to break on it.
We have one here if you want to check it out.
Yeah, in fact, we did bring the DSRX that I rode on this bike, on this route. So if anybody is interested, come talk to us. You can at least take it for a spin, you know, even on pavement, just to feel what it's like. You know, it's quiet and it's super smooth, it's fast, it's fun.
So it's cheaper than a R1300 GS, but more expensive than a KTM 890. It's right in the middle.
Everyone back there, Wendy? Anything back there? No? Good. Maybe you guys could just say hi. There's a gentleman by the name who goes by Ron Veggie who says
Ron Veggie.
He's from the Philippines and he's watching.
Okay. Hello, Ron Veggie from the Philippines. Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait for you to come ride BDRs in the States.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We have an
Stateside.
international audience. It's really cool actually to see people who come from Europe or, you know, South America or Philippines and ride the BDRs. It's such an incredible experience for them. They don't have anything like that. I mean, in Europe, there's barely any, you know, public roads to ride on. And so, yeah, we make it easy for people to just come and ride with some of our touring partners. You can come here and rent a bike and go have an adventure of a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. I think in terms of the route difficulty, we often get questions about that. The expert sections or the advanced sections on this are as hard as any section on a BDR. They're quite difficult. The regular sections, most of the time, they're not so hard, but there were some sections even on the regular route that in my opinion, were pretty difficult on a big bike. I was on a Jocelyn bike for this one. Normally I'm on a smaller cheater bike, and Jocelyn's on the big manly bike, and this time she wasn't there, so someone had to ride the Jocelyn bike, so it was me. And so that makes the route different. It's some of the terrain is harder on the smaller diameter front wheel. When you're on a 600-pound motorcycle, tow lever front end, it makes some of it different. Some of the hard technical embedded rocks are harder than they would be on a 790 or a 701 or something that's a little lighter and nimble. But they carry the weight really well, and when you get to the smoother gravel, they're so much fun, just really, really good. And on the pavement, I mean, there's just nothing better than that 1250 GS. So.
Cool. Winners are coming in, but last question for you. This is specifically for Paul because a gentleman by the name of Robert asked, during the rainy section of the NorCal BDR, did you learn nothing from Nevada?
During the rainy section.
So you guys are riding in the cold and the snow.
Oh, did we learn nothing from? Yeah, it was pretty darn cold. At least on the Nevada route. I mean, I think the coldest temperature we got was 22 degrees, but there was no precipitation coming down anyway. We rode in snow, and that was really cold. But that's the thing about the BDRs. You just never know what you're going to get. On the Nevada route, since we're here in Nevada, it was over 100 degrees at the beginning of that route. And within that week, it was 22 degrees at the north end of the route. So it's just amazing. It's some of the states are pretty wild. Wyoming's pretty wild. You can have extreme temperature changes. Colorado as well because of the high elevation. Yeah, great question.
Yeah. Lots of excitement about the Big Bend BDRX. So we'll get to that teaser, but first we have our 3 winners.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to give them a shout out. Okay, so the first one is for the NorCal package, the jersey, the map, and the sticker. Our winner is...
Do we have the winners?
Yeah,
right here
he's got them.
Okay.
The winner is Blake Rosser.
Blake Rosser.
Blake Rosser, he's a supporter. He's come to many events. Blake, you deserve it.
Okay. Congratulations, Blake. Okay, next up is the Touratech helmet. This is the white one. I thought it was the red, white, and blue one when I grabbed the box, but I guess I read it wrong.
That's right.
But these are all carbon fiber, available in different colors, tremendous airflow, glove-friendly vents. And our winner of this is?
Gordy Plett.
Gordy Plett.
Gordy
Congratulations, Gordy. You've got a new stylish lid ready for riding BDR. Okay, grand prize time.
That's right. The sponsor of the Big Bend BDR Acts, one of the title sponsors, right? The
Yep.
Austin Moto Adventures.
5-day tour.
And the winner of that is Abby Young.
Abby Young has won the 5-day Motor Adventures Tour. So 3 winners, we have your contact information and we will be contacting you via email and tell you how to redeem your prizes. Congratulations and thank you very much to everyone for supporting us
Thanks
tonight.
for making the donations to be eligible to win.
Yeah. All right, so next up, let's just talk before we do the teaser for the upcoming BDR X routes, just some closing thoughts on, for people who are planning to ride this route, let's talk about the resources that are available on our website.
Okay, yeah, you go to the RideBDR.com, NorCal BDR. We've got resources for the hotels, restaurants, campgrounds along the route. We've got frequently asked questions, there's packing lists, there's a lot of route resources. That's where you can also find route updates. These routes are changing every day, every month. Things happen, roads close, there's fires, there's weather events that change it, and we keep updates on that. As Ina mentioned earlier, you always want to grab the GPS tracks last minute before you go out to make sure it's the most current version. And we also have dedicated Facebook group pages with up-to-date information on every single of our full-length routes, and there's a lot of community-generated content there, so it's also a good place to meet up with people if you want to find people to ride it with, or you want to talk to someone who rode it last week to see what a certain section was like. It's a great resource between the website and the Facebook group pages. Cool.
All right, let's talk about a couple new routes that we have planned for release this year. First one is the Chattahoochee BDR X in Georgia. It's sort of a sister route to the upcoming Southeast BDR that's being released in 2025. But this year, coming September, you will be able to ride the Chattahoochee BDR X in Georgia, thanks to our sponsors, BMW Motorrad and Alpine Stars. And the second BDR X we're releasing this year is the Big Bend, Texas, which is my personal favorite. We have already filmed that route in March in partnership with Harley Davidson, Austin Motor Adventures, and Alpine Stars. And we actually have a date for the release of that route. That's Saturday, October 26th. Our whole team will be at the Great Tour Texas Rally.
Tour Texas Rally.
At Austin Motor Adventures just outside of Texas. So that's a weekend full of awesome rides and entertainment, camaraderie. And on Saturday night there we will be doing another live broadcast releasing the route. The cool part about that is riders can ride the Big Bend BDR X right after the event. You know, a lot of people might be intrigued by the allure and magic of West Texas, and this route certainly offers a lot of opportunities to experience these unique landscapes there. So the route spans the Big Bend National Park, which I've heard is actually the national park that's visited the least.
The least, okay.
We're probably going to be changing that. It also covers the Big Bend Ranch State Park and other remote areas in there. We are basically tracing the Rio Grande River, and there's an optional foot crossing into Mexico. So amazing scenery, lots of historical points of interest, and the riding is world class.
And so I just want to clarify that if you're at the Great Tour Texas Rally in October, that's when the film premiere will be for this, and then you can get the GPS tracks and literally go from that event and ride that for the first time.
Right.
I think it's like 5 hours away, so it's not right next to it, but
right.
it's in Texas, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And you have a teaser for this?
We do have a teaser for it. So
I haven't seen it.
Wrap up and run it.
What's that?
Do you want to just run it, or do you want to wrap up and then run it?
Well, let's run it and then we'll come back.
All right, we're going
Okay, here we go. Check it out.
Welcome to West Texas.
This is Big Bend country, and it's beautiful.
I am the camel. Yeah. There you go.
The river road, man, it's so good.
Team Mexico!
That ride was wonderful. That's an amazing road.
So that's the sand dance.
Another amazing ride today.
we're back here with our supporters at the BDR fundraiser. This wraps up our evening for tonight. We've enjoyed spending the last 2 hours with you. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of the broadcast. This was a wonderful event. We're deeply grateful to everyone who has donated tonight and supported BDR over the years. We look forward to bringing you more opportunities to ride, more BDR routes for years to come.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.